let's go to our first topic, because we had another shelf sighting for Nintendo during a Microsoft event. They didn't get the PS5 up there because it was for GameStack, and I mean Minecraft, is on all these platforms. I guess the PS5 would have collapsed the shelf, or they were trying to hint at something once again, just like Phil Spencer had the Switch on his back shelf. All of a sudden, the Switch is there, kind of up into the, kind of out of frame, not quite. It was there, and everyone, of course, starts reacting online. I saw Sean, you made a video about it because there was a Switch there. No coincidence is what you said, right? And then we had the Halo account. The Halo account share a Mario fan art there with Halo and Mario crossing over. So are we thinking this might be another little call to something that Nintendo and Microsoft are doing here we'll say in the near future, probably sometime this year is what we're expecting, some kind of announcement from those two collaborating once again?
Yes. I mean, yeah, to some degree. I don't know. At this point, their whole deal seems so nebulous. Whatever it is, I'll be interested, but I mean, I have no idea. I mean, obviously, I like the idea of Games Pass on Switch eventually, but we'll see what it turns into.
So I would still like to see that happen through xCloud, Game Pass on the Switch. And Microsoft, you guys, I mean, everyone's kind of noticed Microsoft's been extremely aggressive with Game Pass to start this year. It feels like we have some new Game Pass news every week, like over the last, I would say, 3 months. This is what it feels like to me. There's new games going into it, or they got third-party games dropping day one in there. And I know Jez Gordon talked about on Twitter that there were 23 million subscribers right now in Game Pass. And basically in this last quarter, they gained 5 million subscribers, which basically for Microsoft is them selling 5 million systems is the way they treat it. Because like Game Pass is like their system now. Mm-hmm. So if they're at 23 million now and they haven't released a first party big game yet this generation, really, I mean, what was the last big first party game for Microsoft? Was it Gears?
Yeah.
Bleeding Edge.
That's a funny joke.
It's been a hot minute, man. I have not.
It's been a while, right?
Like my Xbox, man. I have not played any type of like exclusive built for like this. That's the only issue that I have with it. Outside of it, system's great, but man, I wish there was something that was like built for exclusive Xbox Series X.
If we're being super generous, there have been a bunch of very big updates for Sea of Thieves, and I've played it recently. That game is still evolving and changing and stuff. That player base keeps growing. But I mean, that's kind of the only thing that comes to mind is like a big thing for Xbox right now.
Yeah, I mean, we have the media.
Flight Simulator. Some people are saying Flight Simulator. But
Flight Simulator.
This summer, I believe, is when it's coming out on the Xbox. But people have been playing that on PC for a while now.
Some people saying like the medium, but like the medium, that's
not from Microsoft.
Oh, yeah,
it's not from Microsoft. Yeah, it's not really
that counts in my book. That counts in my book.
It's
an exclusive.
I guess that's
not that great though.
The fact that you have to grasp for straws.
I know.
I totally. I need to know.
I mean, I guess we count. I mean, Demon's Souls made by Bluepoint, and we count that, even though I guess that's or Sony is involved.
Returnal?
I guess in that IP
but
at least.
Sony Japan did help make that.
Yeah, that's true.
And Sony still had the sack.
They had Astro's Playroom.
They had Astro, they had Sackboy, and they also had, what was the other game? They had Spider-Man Miles Morales. Those were cross-gen, but they still had like first-party games. Sure. And then they have Returnal coming, and then they have Ratchet and Clank coming.
Oh yeah, Sony is much more equipped to start this generation than Microsoft. Microsoft might not have that big first-party game until Halo, and we think that's coming out at the end of this year. We can't really count like Psychonauts 2 is going to come out before, but that I don't count that as like the thing where they're like, all right, this thing's going to get 1 million signups, no sweat. For Game Pass Ultimate. I don't really count it. That's something though. That's one of those games for me, Psychonauts 2.
But like, it's something though. It's better than nothing. Like, like at least like, okay, here's Psychonauts 2, like at least it's I mean, I just want something that's like, hey, exclusive. Hey, this is what we're doing. I mean, like,
but my point for that, now that we look at Microsoft, we're like, wow, they're not really doing a lot here. They still managed to get 5 million signups in about 3 months to start the year. Mm-hmm. Without any big first-party games that we assume spike sales for signups on Game Pass. And a lot of that's just them throwing money around getting stuff onto it. But still, the fact that I guess that's compelling enough for people to say, I guess I'll subscribe to it because I want to play these games without buying them, technically, for $70 in some cases, like MLB The Show.
I think it's two things. If I had to just completely speculate, I think the Bethesda deal, like the fact that they talked about Bethesda in same breath Game Pass so much, I think got a lot of people to try it out. And I do think that the amount of people I personally talked to who got Game Pass because of Outriders was crazy. Like pretty much everybody who owned an Xbox, like, yeah, I'll try Outriders.
Outriders was a good move for Microsoft. I was surprised that game did as well as it did. I mean, people still play it a lot right now. Like it has a good concurrent player count. Yeah. So that game worked out really well for them to sign it day one for that. What do you think, Nate, about this whole Nintendo Microsoft thing?
I mean, nothing that hasn't been said ad nauseum at this point. They do have something going on. They'll announce it probably within this fiscal year. It's just a question of exactly what it is. Is it going to be just another game collaboration? Will it be something more substantial like xCloud or Game Pass? They have something. We just have to wait and find out exactly what it is.
Sean, you calling the shot here? Is it Halo?
I think it might be.
Yeah, it might be Halo.
It makes sense. It really does make sense. You could cross-platform play it, even if it's just the Master Chief Collection or something like that. Like people still play that shit.
I would love that.
I play it all the time. I play it like 3 or 4 times a week.
I think maybe even Rare Replay. Like I'm still surprised Rare Replay hasn't come over to the Switch. I mean,
even if they break it up and just put Banjo Kazooie and Tooie on the eShop, like that seems like easy money for Microsoft.
Just put everything except for Perfect Dark Zero.
Put Conkers on there.
Chief and Smash, dude.
Yeah, you get xCloud on the Switch and you start streaming these games, and I guess technically it's on the Switch, so you can be like, yeah, Master Chief's in there.
Yeah.
That would mess up the internet real bad that day too. That might legitimately damage Twitter.
That'd
like
be
if Master
amazing.
Chief shows up in Smash.
It'd be amazing.
That would be cool because you could have a really cool like little movie they set up for him and everything to introduce him. That would be pretty cool.
You're gonna see a sniper rifle scope aiming over Mario's head while he's like picking a flower or something, and then a camera turns around. It's like Master Chief.
It's gotta be Chief and Samus fighting.
Yeah, Chief and Samus. Would be really
oh my
cool.
God, the classic. Yes.
Yeah, Samus like comes across like a Halo ring during the movie or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh
or Samus crash lands on something and you don't know what it is, and then then you see Chief and they zoom out and it's a Halo ring. That'll be cool.
They start doing the Halo thing. Everyone's like, no.
Everybody starts singing along with it.
Yeah.
All the Xbox dudes come over and just start getting slaughtered online. Just start getting absolutely like the Steve, like all of my. I'm gonna try this out. They were just getting destroyed.
No.
I beat so many Steves that day.
The more noobs, the better. That's the best. It's a little kid. I want to play this game online. No, you don't, boy. No, you don't.
That's what happened, dude. I got to Elite Smash with like 10 characters that day.
Oh.
I also brought up the question on Twitter because I was curious what people thought. I feel like if Game Pass gets to a certain point, they'll just cut Xbox Live Gold. Like I think that's the end of Xbox Live Gold then.
That's understandable.
I think you've already hit that point to some degree, but obviously they disagree.
Like Nate, you said 40 million. Nate, is what your target is for them to hit before they say, okay, we're good with Xbox Live.
Microsoft wants between 40 and 50 million Game Pass subscribers before they will consider getting rid of Xbox Live Gold.
You know why
they have to double up.
That would be. You know why that'd be weird? Which actually, I saw the Forbes article was written. I think Paul wrote it, but he was projecting about 30 million by the time Halo Infinite launches, which would also spike up as well. So there's a chance that this time next year, so like a year from now, we could be getting in that range of where they're like, all right, should we cut Xbox Live Gold now? And that would be weird because technically we all get charged for online for these systems because Microsoft introduced it in the first place. So then they would be the ones that would be the first to cut it back out. And you just be able to play these games on the Xbox without having to pay for it, basically. Whereas on the PlayStation, the Switch, you'd still have to pay yearly. So I feel like that'd be an interesting move to kind of shake up the gaming landscape a bit too. But
I mean, yeah, it would put Microsoft in a unique position of if they remove that barrier, how do Sony and Nintendo then respond? Sony's not going to drop PlayStation Plus, and Nintendo's not going to drop their $20 a year Nintendo Switch Online service. They have to basically make those services more appealing. They have to add features to make it an attractive purchase for the consumer if Microsoft does drop Xbox Live Gold. So if Microsoft ever gets to that point, they could cause another shift, just similar to what we see with Game Pass right now. Game Pass has caused a shift in the way all companies approach releases.
That's true. Yeah, because we see Sony doing things like Soulstorm, where there's like, it's part of your PlayStation Plus subscription. Here you go, you get Soulstorm. It's like, oh, cool, I didn't have to buy it. All right, no, that works for me. Nintendo keeps doing these game trials, but they've been adding those Nintendo. Actually, when was the last time we had Nintendo and Super Nintendo games added?
I feel like that's
right?
coming next month.
It has to be coming soon because I feel like it's been a little bit. Yeah, but like they keep adding those.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, they keep adding those. So that's at least something to go along with it. But they do the game trials occasionally. Here and there, you'll get to play like a Mario Tennis or something. But
Yeah, did you get the game trial for Crash Team Racing? And when you tried to play with your friends online, it didn't work the whole time.
That was fun.
That was
my
great.
favorite part.
Yeah, that was the best part about the online.
Weird.
So. Yeah.
it's I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting depending on how Game Pass. It's growing faster than I thought it would for them not having any first party games. I will say that, like, to kick off the generation, but they still have 5 million signups. And what's really interesting is this whole time Microsoft's been trying to figure out how to charge PC gamers Xbox Live fees, and they basically figured it out with Game Pass. So like apparently Game Pass on PC subscriptions are up too. So they figured out how to do it. There you go.
Among Us. It was all Among Us.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what it was, but I mean, just in general, I mean, adding all that stuff to Game Pass. I mean, they even had the better Nier version. Click, you could have played Nier without your PC breaking 20 times.
Yeah, it just you can't win it all, So
yeah. So like the fact that they're even doing that, they're getting better versions of PC games that only exist there. It is interesting. So, and they just got the EA Play stuff on there too. So I don't know. That'll be something to watch to see if their method works to either do just all subscription or the traditional method works better, where we sell a system and then we restart every generation. So we'll
I do want to say real quick, I think that this, at least for right now, this works great for Microsoft because they don't have as many like big first party games. So like it's like, hey, you get a bunch of stuff, in the mean. So it makes at least there's a lot of value there. What's going to be interesting to see, because like we've talked about this, I mean, I don't want to spend too much longer on it, but man, they've got to, like when they start getting all the Bethesda games, it's got to go up in price. Like there's no way you're going to get like the next Doom and Skyrim. There's no way that you get it for that price. And if they do, then yes, that will cause a crazy shift. Like Microsoft or Sony is going to be like, okay, like we got to do something,
There's rumors that Ubisoft is going to show up with their service apparently and merge into Game Pass, and that I don't see how that's possible at all unless they raise the price.
It's not their service.
Oh, it's what
a misconception.
Oh, what
it's
are they?
Not, it's not
they're just bringing in.
Plus.
They're just bringing in Assassin's Creed games and all this other stuff.
It'll be some Ubisoft games.
Okay, so they're doing like a partnership with them and just bringing in a bunch of games.
Yeah, it's not their service.
So, but they're going to add more games that way through Ubisoft as well.
I think people would pay more for this Game Pass too. I think people will be willing to pay more for it if all this stuff is going to happen, which it will, right? We're going to get the Bethesda games and all that. People will be willing to pay more for it because it'll still be good. I mean, if they raise the price, like let's say what, $20 or $30, I think people.
I figure it'll go up to like $20. I mean, how much is Netflix now? Is Netflix like
17, 18 of that?
So I'm kind of thinking of that starting to get to that range where it's like, I mean, Netflix charges that much for streaming video. They're like, if we get enough games on here,
you're gonna get Fable, you're gonna get Perfect Dark, you're gonna get like there's like Everwild, like all these games are just gonna be on there. I see this. It has to go up. There's no way you can just give away all this.
All the Forza games will all show up there, and you'll get, I guess that's Psychonauts. They get the smaller games too, and
unless they get a crazy expansion of install base to where they can afford to take kind of like that hit, that'd be the only the only way that they can keep the price down. If they just get like way more users on there, like a lot faster than they are right now, because right now they're going at a somewhat slow pace in terms of like user base.
The interesting thing about that though is that they it won't restart when a generation happens. Like when the generation restart, like they're not going to be like, oh, okay, we're back to 0 Game Pass subscribers, we got to rebuild. So I guess if they're net positive every month or most months going forward, they'll eventually get to like 100, then 150 million, maybe even 200 million subscribers, some crazy amount, a decade from now. And then maybe that's how they hold it up. They're like, well, now we got 200 million people paying $15 a month or something. And that is like, I think their end goal is to get to that point where it's just some ridiculous amount of money every month coming in. And then it's like up there with like Microsoft Word and Excel for amount of subscription service money coming in. So But we'll see. It's going to be a slow burn for him to get there.
I don't know, man. 20 seems expensive to me. Like right now, we're talking hypotheticals years from now, but 20 a month sounds expensive to me. I don't know. We'll see though.
Yeah, but if you're getting, like I said, if you're getting Perfect Dark and you're getting, Doom and you're getting all this crap on there, then people be like, all right, yeah, it might be expensive, but I'm gonna do it. So
yeah.
And they're gonna lock you in, like Amazon. Amazon is like, they just like, hey, we're changing the price. It's like, well, I still want all that. I still want all that.
I also think that the way that now all the different streaming services, HBO Max, Amazon Prime Video, freaking Netflix, I feel like a lot of them are kind of competing to see like how much can we bump up the price. I feel like that might start happening in video games. And people being like, all right, how much can we bump this up and how much can we make the value? How much will you pay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm interested to see how they approach it. And if they end up opening up xCloud to like Switch user base, then things get pretty out of control for them depending on how they approach that. So like, could it be something that they roll into the Nintendo Switch Online service or something to just get people involved with it for the first year or something? There's a lot of things they could do there.